3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, stop me. 4 takes, that's true. 3 takes, not me. 2 takes if you lucky. First take, you got me.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Cobb and Dash Show. It's the Week 6 preview, Week 5 review. We got a special guest coming on here in a little bit. I'm not going to say any names. We're going to let them come on and surprise the two people who are watching right now on the show. Cobb, how you doing? Back from Austin? Are you refreshed? Do you feel like the season's just beginning again for you? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to approach it. I think I should have had this week. We'll get into it maybe. Rough result. I don't know, but Austin Health being away during the loss helped take my mind off things. Alex made a last minute switch and it won of the week. 2 and 3 is so much different than 1 and 4, and we'll see. But I feel refreshed. I'm ready to go.
That's good. That's good. Are you obviously a lot of trades happened this week? Are you involved in any trade talks right now? And
yeah.
I
don't think a week goes by that I'm not in trade talks. I like feeling out the market. I think that's just what a responsible active owner should be doing. I've been getting a lot of questions, not going to lie, is if I'm going to sell out for next year or if I still think I can make a push. And I think I can still make a push, man. We'll see. I should bounce back. I still like my team, but just hasn't come to fruition. Jesus, you freeze, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, the internet. Yeah, I don't know. So you were saying you're still trying to make a push?
Yeah, so I think I can still make a push. Again, being 1-4, I think there was a few games I've lost that I think, they've been close. They haven't, other than the ones when I had the low score last week. Even then, I had 80 points on my bench. I've been close to having a completely different season. But even then, the only win I had was against you, and that was barely a win. So I don't know. It's hard to have envisioned myself in this position, but again, I still think I have the talent on the team to bounce back.
Yeah, I think you do have the talent. I mean, just obviously, Trevor Lawrence, he has 5 touchdowns through fucking 5 weeks, which is wild.
And every week it's been he's the one that I'm most disappointed in, but at the same time, I watch his games, he looks good. He's always a few inches away from a much bigger week, and that's it. But eventually that becomes a trend, right? So it's not just
it just becomes his season.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he could easily have 4 more touchdowns on the year, and that'd be all the difference. But yeah,
at least Etienne blew up last week.
What's up?
At least Etienne blew up.
Yeah, and I'm loving that pick. I think I don't even know. I was thinking back to the trade I made with Hodge because I could have had Saquon. I probably wouldn't have taken Etienne there.
Yeah,
I'm glad that trade happened because I also got David Montgomery out of that trade. Got Amari Cooper, got TJ Hawkinson. I think I'd take all 3 of those players as a bundle over Saquon. So
yeah, I mean Saquon's done nothing even the games he did play.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know, man. It's again, I've everyone that's approached me of a trade this week has been trying to see where my head's at, and at the same time, every team has been like, I came to you to see if you sell out, but after looking at your team, I don't know if you want to do that. Other teams have faith in me. That's a good sign. I appreciate it, but until it results in some wins, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way of looking at it. At least you're not down on your team right now. At least you just, you're just trying to be realistic about everything that's going on right now. I think you still got a shot. I think any spots from 4, even 3. 3 to 6, those spots are still open. I think 1 and 2. I don't know if it's going to be the 1 and 2 cemented at those spots, but I think those are the only two teams that I see that are kind of formed ahead of everybody else. But that 3 to 6, I think those spots are wide open. Even one of the teams in the playoffs, we're going to talk about that trade he did. But one of the teams in the playoffs right now did a ridiculous trade, which I think might actually fuck him over, to be quite honest with you. Well, let's talk about one of the trades that happened this week. We're going to obviously talk about the other one when the guest comes on in a second here, but trade happened yesterday before basketball. Hodge trades Justin Jefferson, his 3rd and 10th for Tyreek Hill, and a 5th round pick and a 15th round pick. What were your thoughts on the trade? And do you think this makes Hodge the overriding favorite to win this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's very much shows how new Yags is to this league. I don't think he quite realizes how much value a guy like Tyreek Hill, especially with a 21th round tender, like I get it. It was for the future. Justin Jefferson, probably best receiver in the league. Long term, 4 years down the road, you'll probably be happy with this trade. But at the surface value, you're in a playoff spot. The only thing really missed, like you've been winning with those receivers you have. The only thing you're missing is a running back. To not getting running back in that trade is still the most baffling part about it to me. We've seen Tyreek Hill involved in a big trade beforehand, and it got a haul of picks. We got our special guest on.
Yeah.
We're hold on, let's fill him in. We're talking about the Justin Jefferson trade with between Hodge and Yaglu right now. So, Cobb, continue.
Yeah, no, it's just Yaglu is very much set on not being able to win this year. And I don't think he realizes how often that like a surprise team can come in and make noise. And I think the one thing that Hodge was lacking was depth. And he got an injury to Saquon. And then the Justin Jefferson injury. I didn't know what he was going to do. I knew he was going to make a trade, and I think he knew he had to make one. And it's unfortunate because now he can just plug in Tyreek Hill and he can keep going on like he has been. So, like you said, it was kind of a bailout in that sense. And I don't think like it helps Yaglu long term, but like 2 or 3 years from now is when it helps him the most.
Yes.
And I don't think he realizes I think he overvalued that aspect.
100%. And I think with the way Hodge wants to get a three-peat this year, I think he could have gotten a running. I think he could have gotten Moser or Jonathan Taylor in that trade.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we were just talking about I've been in trade talks this week. Every single owner, all 3 owners, have made a joke about that trade in our trade talks.
Oh my god!
So that just shows how everyone else is feeling about it.
Stu, your thoughts on the trade? We're gonna get to your trade in a second here. We just want to.
Yeah, I mean, he just could have gotten way more than what he got. I think Tyreek and Justin's a pretty lateral move, to me anyway. I think by the time, like, we all think we're going to keep these guys forever, and then, like, we trade them 2 years in. Like, I don't think the likelihood that Yaglu actually sees a Justin Jefferson distinction between Tyreek, I think, is low. And, like, I don't know, he could have gotten many, many more picks, and I just, wasn't a big fan of the trade.
Yeah. Rough trade. Yaglu 0 for 2 on trade so far in this league.
And the only other thing, too, is, like, he had, Tyreek and Adams, like, we talked about this earlier, like, those 2 pieces keep you in at least kind of the middle, like, and you could end up being Adam from last year where he kind of sneaks up on you and you're like, oh, shit, like, he's the 6th seed and some other guys are getting hot. So I definitely don't think he was out of it either, to Cobb's point.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, hopefully he can figure whatever's going on with him out. Figure out what I don't know what's going to happen next year with his team. But he'll have his draft at least for next year, and he's got a couple extra picks, so that's good. He's got an extra third now, an extra 10th. Doesn't have a 6th because I have that. And that's another thing too. The Tyreek Hill trade that I did with Barry isn't even done yet. I still have a 6th round pick in his next year's draft from that Tyreek Hill trade. So like, I don't know. At least wait till the Tyreek Hill thing is done, so you have like that player. And it's like, it's not like he's a bad player. It's one of the top guys in fantasy, top 5 player in fantasy right now. So like, I don't know. I think Hodge like really stuck his teeth in him and told him like, dude, this guy's he's gonna retire in 2 years. Like, you want a young guy. Like, you're building fresh. You're not really playing for anything right now. I've seen how Hodge operates. He sent me a screenshot of his conversation with ZB from 2 weeks ago. And like they had a back and forth, and ZB wasn't really buying what Hodge was selling, and they said, enjoy pancakes, buddy. But like he was trying to like tell him that you're not going anywhere this year, you suck, pretty much. And ZB's like, yeah, I'm good with what I got, buddy. And then like he said, enjoy pancakes. So like I know how Hodge operates. Yaglu's a very nice guy, and I told Yaglu it's okay to say no in trade talk. You don't have to just appease the other guy. Like, he's a nice guy. I respect that, but like, come on.
And another thing, like kind of to Stu's point, he's acting like it's a lot to keep Justin Jefferson. Kirk Cousins is at the center of trade talks right now. Like one of the biggest rumors out there is that he's going to be the one that gets traded. Where does that leave Justin Jefferson? And unless they somehow get Caleb Williams, that'd be sweet. But I don't like. It's like me with Garrett Wilson right now. Like it's just kind of a lost cause. Like he's still going to produce, but like not nearly as much without Kirk.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, so the other trade that happened this week, big blockbuster. I think this is gonna. We're talking about the teams in the playoffs right now because Cobb's saying he thinks he still has this chance, and I think he does too. Because I think outside the top 2 teams in the league, you have 3v6 slots I think open. Because regardless if me or Hodge get the bye or not, I think our 2 teams are cemented at least as playoff teams. There's only 2 teams you could say playoff teams. Everybody else, it's like, I don't know who the other 4 spots are going to. So, and one of the teams that's in the playoffs is Paul. Paul did a trade with you this week, which I really look at. Doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't really understand the trade. When you first brought it to us, I was like, oh, it's kind of a toss-up. But like Devontae Smith, outside of like 1 week, hasn't really given me enough to show that he is the guy. I mean, Ayuk's 1 game this past week. Like was better than Devontae Smith's best game of the season. And that was a game where he had like 5 catches for 120 yards and a touchdown. But like, talk to us about the trade when he brought it up. Did he propose it to you? Did you propose it to him? And what made you do the trade? And how good are you feeling about your team now that you've done this trade?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we'll never say anything bad about Paul. We've had a fantastic trading relationship, and that's not going to change anytime soon. I brought the trade to him, so after the it was honestly the Devontae Smith thing that just like kind of bumped me, because the whole idea with him was like he's going to at least be like, I don't know, a solid enough piece where he's not going to hurt me. Ideally, he's taking a jump. And it just like him getting a 1 catch for 5 yards just like really put a bad taste in my mouth. So I tried to find other trade partners that might be looking to change things up. Paul had a few guys that I was interested in, and I kind of floated out there. It ended up getting more steam when we talked about Hurts and Herbert, just because like it made it a little bit more real. Listen, I think Paul's got a good team. I mean, he's like, I look at his team, he's got a lot of assets that, I mean, some of them are kind of in weird spots with like A-Chain and everything, right? But like a healthy Paul's team is like a really good team. For me, with Connor going out on IR and Miles Sanders being a dud, like I needed to find a way to piece together a good running back, keeps some Devontae Smith level receiver. And then like, to me, the Herbert and Hurts thing is a bit of a lateral move. And so at least from my perspective, that's how I approached it. I would have preferred not to give up Hurts just because like his rushing floor is what it is. But I also get nervous every time I watch Hurts, man. Like I'm just never impressed by his fucking passing, man. He throws these fucking like 5-yard throws and, and shit like that. It just worries me a little bit. And at least like it felt like Herbert was taking that next step that I feel like we've been talking about for a few years now. So anyway, that's kind of the thought process for me.
You've had Herbert in the past, correct?
I have. And the reason I got rid of him was because similarly, I thought he was going to take a next step and he didn't at that point. My feeling is a little bit different now than it was. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Cobb, what did you think of the trade that Stu did? Who do you think won that trade? Who won that trade, Stu or Paul?
I mean, I like Stu's side more. I think.
Me too.
I mean, with how Herbert's been going off, I get the Hurts rushing floor. And we'll see how the Chargers offense looks coming out of a bye. But I think like we had talked offline about getting that QB bye out of the way is huge. You don't have to experience having a backup QB in for your team. I think that's huge. Ayuk, we've talked again offline. I'm a gigantic fan of Ayuk. I have him a lot of leagues except for this one. And I think he looks incredible. And like, again, there's a lot of mouths to feed on that 49ers offense. But I mean, Purdy and him clearly have a connection. He's always open. And I've seen him like leading in so many of the wide receiver stat categories that like, it's just, I don't know. I think he was the best receiver in the draft. In the trade. I like Kyren Williams a lot. Like you said, you needed running back. I mean, he's as big of a workhorse as you can get. I do think he like kind of comes back down to earth because he's been getting a lot of touchdowns, but at the same part, you're still getting that consistency, and that's really what your team needed. And then the weirdest part, like I do like Hurts. Oh, and another thing, you get that stack now with Keenan Allen. And that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's an upgrade than what we've seen with Devonta Smith stack. So, and the weirdest part, the only reason I still think it's fine for Paul. It's just really, really weird to have all 3 Seattle wide receivers. And unless he moves one, it's real. Like that's what I assumed the trade was for, was to assuming he was going to move one of them. If he doesn't, you're going to start 2 receivers on the same team, and I don't know. It's a little weird.
It's kind of weird.
We initially had Wandale in that spot. I was trying to, because he's a Giants guy. We moved it to Lockett. He did acknowledge that, like, he didn't really want to have all 3, but like thought he wanted someone better than Wandale. I honestly like the Devontae could totally like course correct, and the rest of the season he totally could. I just like don't have the risk tolerance right now. Just as I like look at James Conner on the IR and Miles Sanders, like where he is, I don't want to do another fucking rebuilding. You know what I mean? Like I just want to play. Like I want to have my team like have a chance at like winning. And like, to me, this was like the best move to like keep that going. Paul has a little bit more room for letting some of these people kind of course correct than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think he's the riskier side.
Yeah. Okay, so that was it for the trade talks from week 5. So Stu, usually each of us do one takeaway from week 5, and then we go into the what do you call it? The chug, low point chug. What was your takeaway from week 5, Cobb?
My biggest takeaway is it was. I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, but it was the top teams are kind of starting to solidify, and I get it's what we've seen for the past couple of years. It's been you and Hotch, but I think we're starting to get to that point of the year where it's going to be crowded again. I still have faith in my team. It's going to be a lot different if I drop this week, but I think it's starting the top is starting to separate in my eyes, the top teams.
My takeaway is the guys. It's a top team, but it's a team that a lot of people are surprised they are where they are right now. It's my guy Roden, who I've predicted to win all these games he's won, but I'm still surprised at the points he's scoring, how high they are. I mean, look at last 2 weeks. So week 4, 150. This is his first game with 2-2, which only got 7 though, so it wasn't like that was that big deal. Cole Kmet having a 24 is what gave him that. And then this past week, 141. Tutu had a touchdown that game, but only got an 8. So Tutu's starting to feel the effects of Cooper Kupp being there. And I got to say also, Tasia having Cooper Kupp in his lineup now. We're adding another guy to the conversation of playoffs. But, yeah, I'm going to say Roden, he's done an amazing job so far. I think he's outperforming what he should be doing based on his team overall, top to bottom. But, yeah, that's a team that is one of those teams that's top right now, but I could easily see them falling off. However, I've been picking him to win because his matchups he's going against every week, he has a better top to bottom team than a lot of these teams out there. But yeah, I think Roden is really surprising me. He's really standing out so far this year. Stu,
I mean, like they're kind of two. So one is like just Hotch scoring 187 with a backup QB is fucking nuts. But the other one would be there aren't a lot of bad teams, which is good. You know, like I was looking at kind of the bottom, you want to call them bottom feeders, the middle, whatever. The distinction isn't that high. You know what I mean? And like an injury here or there, like could really shift the rankings around. So I think it's really going to be a fucking fist fight for the whole season. And even the folks who are 1-4, I don't think they're fucking out. Just like you said with Tasia, like insert Cooper Kupp, like he's got a chance. So.
Yeah, the Swift playing the way Swift's playing. Cause I don't think anyone thought Swift was going to be like that. Tasia took him based on the chance that he might be the guy, and he's looked great so far. And that might be a keeper for him if he continues it, and if he signs in Philadelphia. But yeah, okay. So before we go to Week 6 predictions, I got to film our low scored chug last night at basketball at Little Run Elementary. Pretty pathetic. I'm just gonna warn you guys, it's really pathetic. So this is our guy ZT, the only guy who scored a sub 100 point score last week. The only double digit score we had in our league last week. But yeah, here's ZT.
Go. You're not gonna make any comments before it? Just drink. You can make it afterwards.
Not built for this shit. Pancakes are gonna be good too.
Yeah, probably.
I get it all?
Yeah, this is fun. Any comments?
I gotta get used to this shit. This is rough. We've fallen pretty hard since 2010. Alright.
Finish
I gotta finish the whole thing?
Yeah. Alright.
Wow.
Good stuff.
I really am gonna throw up.
So any improvements from last year's chugs from ZT? Any feedback?
I have a quick question before we get into that. Where exactly was that filmed?
It was filmed in the bathroom
At an elementary school.
at elementary school. I wasn't gonna. I didn't want him to drink it in the gymnasium. If the janitor came, like saw alcohol, I don't want to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I guess I can go first on this. Extremely weird location choice again. The first one was in a car. This time it's in the bathroom in an elementary school. And I've never seen someone act like 12 ounces of beer is like a boot, like 40 ounces. Yeah. I'm like, I get like there's people that don't like chugging. Totally fine. You know, it takes a little bit. But there's something else going on there because that was a little faster somehow than last year, but it was 12 ounces of liquid still.
That was a tough beer to choose too. Was that a Blue Moon?
Yeah.
That's, I felt like I could see more than anyone else, just like every bit of water going down his throat with how big a gulps he was taking.
Good Adam's apple.
It's a good Adams apple. Good profile pic too. It was actually perfect for his the image we made together. The graphic for the week 5 high point score and the week 5 low point score. Nice little profile. Him just chugging that. And also how slow it was. That's why I added the timer there. I was like, this is ridiculous. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah. No, I thought the time it was like 30 seconds and he had like just a little bit left. And I was like, okay, like that's funny, but this is gonna be fine. And then somehow the time went up to a minute, and
I didn't realize he had more in there. He didn't fill up the whole cup with all the beer.
Yeah. And then he asked if he had to finish it all, like it was some surprise. Was that before or after ball?
He wanted to do it before, and this is the actual quote. I was like, you should want to wait till after. He wanted to do it before because he wanted to see how he'd feel. He wanted to experience how it would feel.
How'd he ball?
So, what?
How'd he ball? Was he better?
Pretty good, actually. He traveled at one point during the game, and he got mad because he was trying to say it wasn't a travel. And everybody on the side was like, "No, you traveled." And he like got really upset and actually tried really hard like after that. But no, he was fine. I don't think he didn't really make a lot of jumpers. He just did more of his ZT kind of like. I mean, he had a really good team, so he could be more of a floor general. But pretty key though, nonetheless. His friends stunk, but
I heard about those.
Oh, yeah, bad. And it wasn't some me making it up thing. Everyone thought it. But anyway, good, nice kid though. Just smelled bad, and he fouled like a, yeah. But yeah, ZT only person to score below a 100 last week. For really two things: eye-opening to show how bad his team is, but also eye-opening to show how good everyone else in the league is. Everyone's scoring triple digits. Usually, you see a couple like 90s here and there, but now ZT with 80 something. Okay, so now we're going to get to the week 6 preview, and we're going to do a little guest of honor here. Our guy Stu's going to go with the first matchup of the week is the 1-5 matchup. The two playoff teams going against each other. And this is actually pretty pivotal because Adam loses. Adam gets knocked out of the playoffs, or at least going into week 7. But yes, do us Hotch versus Adam, the 1-5 matchup.
Yeah, let's do this. So we got Burrow and Tua. I mean, I have no idea whether or not we're going to see real Joe Burrow again or if that was just a snapshot in time. But Carolina, how's Carolina's pass defense these days?
Not
great.
Yeah, fine.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
not
go
the best.
We'll go to it here because, until Joe actually shows that he does a little bit more, I'm going to just ride with Tua. He's been doing a solid job. Chase and Dotson, easy. Chase is back. Targeted 20 times last week. That's fucking crazy. McCaffrey and Barkley, we're going McCaffrey. That's easy. Ferguson, easy. Brees Hall, Drake London. Let's look at Drake London. How's Drake London been doing recently? We gave you a lot of shit, Cobb, recently. Better, yeah.
But
he's doing okay. But we're going Brees. Brees fucking torched up Denver. Looks like he's off of his snap count. So we're gonna go Brees.
Going against a tough run defense though.
I know.
If they just shut the run game down and let Zach Wilson throw, I mean, that's probably going to be their game plan. Stop the run, make him throw.
And Justin Fields just threw 4 touchdowns against Washington secondary.
I just have a hard time getting any faith in a Atlanta Falcons receiver. I'd much rather the 12 attempts on the ground, even against Philly.
That's fair.
Mostert, A.J. Brown, with A-Chain out, Mostert all day.
Wow. This guy's selling on the Eagles offense. Look at him. Look at him, Cobb. He's selling on the Eagles offense entirely.
I just Miami's just a different beast of an offense. I don't know, man. If A-Chain's not going to be there, Mostert's going to get 20 carries, and yeah, dude. And then Tyreek and Gus.
Isn't Jeff Wilson back this week?
He's practicing this week. He's designated to be back from IR, but and totally Jeff Wilson could also just blow up randomly because that's how it works. But I think Mostert's just safe. I could call that a wash. I mean, I could call A.J. Brown Mostert a wash, I guess, but I would rather have Mostert. And then Tyreek Hill and Gus Edwards. It's not close. I got Hodge winning 170 to 135.
Yeah, I love the high expect. By the way, I love that Hodge did this trade this week because now the Hodge has all these high expectations now, and if he doesn't win this year, it's like, Jesus, you choked.
Totally. I mean, like, I feel like we're going to see more examples of Hodge winning in these 170 plus ways. And his bench, I mean, he's got fucking Jonathan Taylor on his bench and some other of these people. Like, he's got depth, he's got good talent. Like, our only hope is that that Joe Burrow just kind of continues to, have these shaky games. And then, I think we have a good chance of knocking him off then.
Yeah, JT's the only thing he really has on his bench. Everything else is pretty putrid.
Is that right? Okay.
That's why that Tyreek Hill trade was such a big deal, where the fact that he was able to just go from Justin Jefferson to Tyreek Hill instead of having to put Jonathan Taylor in there, and then you would have Khalil Herbert, Tank Bigsby as his other guys, if that was the case.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert's not bad, right? Like, he's hurt, but, like, he had a 21 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Like, that's not terrible. A lot of people would kill to have Herbert on their bench. But
yeah,
it's not like firepower like everyone else.
Right. No, I agree. Cobb, prediction for that game?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty easily Hodge. I don't even think if the Tyreek Hill trade didn't happen, I still would have picked Hodge in this. I mean, maybe this is what happens with Adam every year, but it's gross. Gus Edwards, Jahan Dotson, like Drake London is super mid. Even though he's looked a little better lately, like he's not blowing up. It'd be sweet if Kirk Cousins went to the Falcons, but I go Hodge here. I think Stu, probably the highest prediction actually of the year from the Cobb and Dash show, 170.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 155 to. I kind of give him. I'm going to go 155 to 102.
I'm going to go 145 to 126. Adam.
Wait, Adam.
I mean, Hodge over Adam.
Upset of the week.
So high projection for Adam.
No, Adam's not winning this game. I will say though, the Tua Tyreek thing will cancel out if he does do anything with Tyreek. That's something. That's something at least. Okay, Cobb, you got the number 2 team versus the you got number 2 versus the potential Pancake King.
Yeah, I love the fact that I get to do this matchup. And before I go matchup by matchup, I am so excited. I can probably speak for Stu for the back and forth that will be happening between these two owners all week.
Starting tomorrow, actually.
Starting tomorrow. I think it's going to be a doozy. I think there's going to be a lot of reverse jinxes in this one. But matchup to matchup, we got Mahomes against Denver. And man, that even though like you guys haven't had, or the Chiefs haven't had like receivers, Mahomes has still been putting up points, and looking at his schedule, he has just fucking cake coming up. But Denver looks awful. Their defense is awful. Give me Mahomes. Lamar Jackson looks lost. He looked lost last week at least. And I think Tennessee's defense is pretty stingy. They've made a lot of QBs look a little rough. A lot of teams that I thought were going to tear them up didn't end up tearing them up. So I'm going to go Mahomes in that one. Deebo Samuel against Amon-Ra. He was limited because I know Amon-Ra has his injury lingering. Man. If Amon-Ra plays, I'll go Amon-Ra St. Brown in that matchup. Ramondre Stevenson versus Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a tough matchup, but I can't. I can't even look at the Patriots offense. It's been super hard to watch every single game from start to finish this year. The line sucks. Mac Jones sucks. The receivers suck. The defenses only really need to focus on stopping the run, and Ramondre doesn't even get a lot of looks. So until that changes, I'm going to give Derrick Henry the edge there, even though Derrick Henry hasn't, like, he's had some decent games, but the Patriots offense is lost. And until I see changes, I'm not gonna pick Ramondre over anyone. Jonnu Smith, which that's key. Against Evan Ingram. I'm going to go Evan Ingram. He had a little bit of a slow game last week, but he's consistently being targeted in that offense. I think, Trevor Lawrence likes him a lot. I think he gets a touchdown this game. He's gone all this time without a touchdown. I might be biased here, but I'm going to go Evan Ingram in that one. Starting Jonnu Smith is just really funny to me. I get it. He's looked okay, but they have Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith is startable. Like, the Falcons' offense is ridiculous in a bad way. DJ Moore versus McLaurin. Give me DJ Moore. He's even when Justin Fields wasn't looking good, he was still putting up points. In the last 2 games, Fields has looked great, and they're going against Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is awful. I don't think he's going to have another 3-touchdown game, but give me DJ Moore. And TJ McLaurin or Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson both have looked pretty weak. And I know our boys ET and some others have had high faith in that offense. It just isn't there right now. Kamara and Pittman. I mean, you were wagging your tail for Kamara to come back all season. He comes back and he's looked fantastic. Everyone's probably, banging their head that they let him slip that far. Give me Kamara, especially with Anthony Richardson out. Pittman had a good start to the year, but hasn't been looking that great before then. Pollard and Gibbs. Give me Pollard. I don't even know if Gibbs is going to play this week. David Montgomery's the guy in that backfield. And I think this is going to be a similar score to what we had just seen with the Adam and Hodge one. I think ZT has a little bit more of a team, kind of. I mean, the ceiling just isn't there for me for ZT. But give me a dash win. Give me 143 to 112.
Stu?
Yeah, I'm looking over. Yeah, I mean, you're going to kick the shit out of him. I just don't know how badly. I'm going to go ZT 90. And
wow.
The projections look pretty good for, like, these aren't bullshit projections from Yahoo on some of these guys. So, like, I'll probably go like 135 for you.
That's key. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll just take a dub. I don't really care about the. I do care about the points. Though I want to win the overall points score. And I think I'm down by 20 with Hodge right now.
It could be a lot more, but yeah, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about it.
Yeah, so there was a stat that came out today that Mahomes has never faced the last-ranked scoring defense in his time in the NFL. This is the first time he's going to play the last-ranked scoring defense, and he plays them 2 out of his next 3 games. So he plays the Broncos tonight or tomorrow, Chargers, and then we go play Broncos again. So,
jeez, it's going to be nice.
It's going to be the thing. It's going to rain tomorrow, so I don't know how much of a game, how good of a game he's going to have tomorrow. I think Pacheco's going to have a big game though. I think Pacheco and Kelsey both have big games tomorrow. Yeah, I think I win. The group message will be key, though. I will say that. I'm going to act like I never thought I had a shot in hell. But yeah, give me 145 to 86. Okay, so the next matchup, I have David Roden versus Tasia. So Tutu can scoot versus the Dallas Stackers Club. All right, so we got Dak Prescott. Dak finally has a matchup where he can actually, look good against, and going against the Chargers on Monday night. So if Taja's down, he's going to have a key little – oh, shit. The projection is 121.97 to 121.67. But, yeah, I'm going to go – Josh Allen. Giants look so bad. Yeah, I'll go Josh Allen here. Dak really hasn't given me anything to, really like so far, and Giants look awful. So, yeah, I'm going to go Josh Allen over Dak. CeeDee Lamb and Diggs. I will say I wouldn't be surprised if CeeDee Lamb has a big game this week. Everyone's just selling all their Cowboys stock. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Dak and Lamb somehow do better than Diggs and Allen. But just based off body of work, I can't go against Diggs or Josh Allen. So I'm going to go Diggs here also. Damian Pierce and Brian Robinson. How's Damian Pierce done? I don't have Damian Pierce in any league. That's a wash. I'm not giving that one to either one of them. George Kittle, Zach Ertz. I'm going to go George Kittle. But I will say, man, George Kittle, 3 touchdowns last week, only 3 catches. I thought it was kind of crazy. They didn't need to do any more than that. But yeah, I will say Ertz has a low ceiling, but he's got a high floor. I mean, he just gets 8s every week. But I'm gonna go Kittle just because the blow up potential is there. DeAndre Swift, Jalen Waddle. You know what? I'm gonna go DeAndre Swift in that matchup. The volume's there, 20 plus carries a game. You're going against the Jets. Pacheco looked like freaking Barry Sanders against the Jets. And DeAndre Swift's a much, much more talented back than Pacheco. I'm going to go Swift in that matchup. Cooper Kupp over Tutu Atwell. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's back. First drive of that game, 8 targets. I mean, Kupp's not going to – if that's the way they're going to treat Kupp, he's not going to last 3 more weeks. I mean, the guy's coming off of one of the worst hamstring injuries of all time, apparently. He had nerve damage from the hamstring. They're giving him fucking 15 targets. I will say kind of a weak game for the amount of targets he had in that opening drive, though. So I'm going to go Kupp there. Christian Kirk, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker's been phenomenal this year. Christian Kirk's also been great. He's been like the main guy in that offense. Statistically, they're very similar. I think there's more of a potential of a blow up with Kenneth Walker. So I'm going to go Kenneth Walker over Christian Kirk. Tasia pretty much, outside the quarterback and receiver duo there, Tasia pretty much swept that whole thing. I go Tasia. I think it's a close one. I think Tasia wins 134 to 118. Cobb, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I mean, the addition of Cooper Kupp, and if that volume stays, and if he stays healthy, like Tasia's, like you said, we talked about at the beginning, he's right back in contention. And I do think he wins this week. I think Roden his team has been performing super well. His team is clearly, good enough to put together a good game. But I think Tasia wins this one. I'll go 125 to 121. I think it's gonna be a close one.
Stewie?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be close. I just if it was me, like, dude, Tutu Atwell, like, he can't be started anymore. Like, in my opinion, like, I would rather start Josh Downs with Minshew behind center, like, just to take a stab at it. But like, boy, it's hard for me to like, if Buffalo just stomps on the Giants' necks with Allen and Diggs on the forefront, maybe Roden pulls it out, but I think Tasia's got this. I'm going to go 135 to 115.
Yeah. And Tasia's going to go on a little streak here. Tasia might get his first shot at making the playoffs in his BL Plus short tenure, second year. So, scary team, I will say. Like, it's not a team that, like, damn, like this team was last place for pretty much all season so far. That's not a team that you look at like, damn, like Adams' team, for example. That's a team you look like, oh, okay, that makes sense. They were bottom for pretty much the whole season. Tasia's team doesn't look like that now that Kupp is back. Kupp really bolsters everything up, and with this fact that he hit on Swift, his team's going to be a force to be reckoned with towards the end of the season.
If Tasia wins and he knows he's going to win before Monday, like, he's got to do anything he can to get a better quarterback situation, because, like, he's not going to win the championship with Dak and Geno. Yeah. There are plenty of people in that bottom 4 that, like, have people that you can at least start. And so, like, I don't know. If I was him, like, I would be making calls to ZT for Lamar.
Ooh, Lamar hasn't really given me what ZT's going to want from him. Lamar hasn't given me something that I can do that with. He looks like he hasn't adjusted to this new offense.
Zach's got Russell Wilson on the bench, and I know Russell Wilson's like whatever, but like he's had some good weeks. Like he's better than Dak and Geno at this point for fantasy. So
I will say to give some credit, not credit, but to give Dak some slack, his matchups have been horrible. I mean, the Jets game and the Giants game, they were just dominating them defensively They got dominated by a really good defense last week. But as far as this is his first week, he actually has got a chance to go against a really bad defense. So like this is the first time, and I don't know. We're week 6 right now. It's his first chance actually getting to do something. It's gonna be interesting to see. And if he doesn't blow up this week, then I say you're right. I think he should go make a move.
Yeah, totally.
Cobb, you're gonna get a chance to do our guy Stu's matchup here. We got the 7 versus 6 matchup. We have Cobb's IR spot. We got our special guest of the season versus our former host of the show, our ex-host we fired last week or last year. But yeah, you got that matchup for us.
Yeah, no, this is another fun one. So we'll just go right into the matchups here. This is a big week for both of them. Obviously, I think Stu, are you in a 2-game losing streak right now? I think.
Yeah, 2 games.
But I think this is a great get right spot. The trade he just made. Herbert going against Dallas, obviously super tough defense. But at the same time, I mean, it's they're coming out of a bye week, and I feel like his ceiling against this defense is a lot higher than it would have been if this was like a few weeks later. But then on the other hand, you do have Fields going against Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is super bad, and Fields has looked better. I mean, obviously the last 2 weeks that Alex just got him for, that was a big robbery too, but Hodge is still being fine. It's a tough one. If it wasn't for Fields' last 2 weeks, I would definitely take Herbert. Herbert easily has the higher floor. I think Herbert's still going to get you in the 20s. I think Fields gets a little more, though. I think he's going to do another like 25, 30 piece. But I think you can take that on the chin with the upcoming matchups here. With Keenan Allen specifically, I'm taking him over T. Higgins. T. Higgins, 1, is hurt. 2, hasn't done anything other than I think he had the 1 week. Clearly that they're focused on feeding Jamar Chase. You know, he said he's always open. We saw that last week. They went all in on him. T. Higgins has just not looked good, even when targeted. So I'm going to go Keenan Allen in there. It's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun game to watch Monday night with Chargers and Cowboys. I'm really excited for that one. But next we got Kyren Williams, another guy that Stu just got, going against Bijan. I'm going to have to get it to Bijan. Just maybe it's because of all the highlights I see, but I mean, Bijan's so fun to watch. I don't think Kyron's that far behind. And Arizona's run defense is not very good. It's going to be interesting to see how this offense adjusts with having Kupp in. Kyron might have benefited to Kupp being out and Stafford wanting to run it more, but I think it's going to be a more balanced offense. But I don't think that necessarily hurts Kyron. I think he's probably going to get better looks. I think Bijan still going to give him the win there, but I think it's still like Kyron's still very good start. Goddard versus Laporta. Laporta is probably Stu's favorite player on his roster right now, or one of them. I'm going to give it to him over Goddard. Goddard did just have a blow-up week, but before that, he has not done anything. And I'm going to go with Stu's theme of just being off of the Eagles' offense. But no, I do think Laporta just, again, higher floor. And honestly, potentially higher ceiling, especially if Amon-Ra is out again this week and Gibbs. So we'll see. He's been a great surprise as a rookie tight end. Ayuk versus Eckler returning. This is a big, assuming Eckler returns this week. This is a huge get for Alex, and him sitting at 3-2 with Eckler being back. That's got to be great to feel like, or great feeling. Cleveland's defense is really good. I did see some stat that there was something about Cleveland running the most single high safety in their defensive schemes, but Ayuk has apparently been tearing that up all season, so that could be interesting. Gonna give it to Eckler. Jacobs versus Nakua. I mean, the Patriots defense is garbage, but they are decent at stopping the run for the most part. And I mean, Nakua still got 11 targets, even though Kupp is back, which is great. I'm going to give Nakua the edge there. Jacobs has been decent, but he has, without his touchdowns, he's not, I don't know. He hasn't looked that whole Raiders offense, except for like Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams, has just been inconsistent. I think we're going to sell out to make Garoppolo throw.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give Nakua the edge there. Just talked about Jacoby Myers. I think this is going to be a big spot for Jacoby. I think this is going to be a big fuck you to us for letting him choosing Juju over him, and I'm ready for all of it. So I'm going to take Juju there. Again, like I think we talked on the show.
Jacoby.
Yeah, Jacoby. My bad. Yeah. Hollywood is a guy that we've talked about that was on the bench for Alex for like weeks, and he finally played him, and he still played well. But even like with the touchdowns, his ceiling has been kind of peaked or capped. So I'm going to go Jacoby there. This is a really good matchup. It's going to come down to obviously that Monday night game, and if the Chargers are going to do better in the air, or are they going to do better running? Oh man, you know what? I'm going Stu. I know that. I think I picked out around, but I'm going Stu in this one because he is a co-host this week. And I think that gives them the fantasy gods are going to be pretty happy with that.
It is nice.
Yeah, but I think the T. Higgins, Keenan Allen difference really is the biggest one of the matchup. And I think I think I chose Fields over Herbert. And I think it's going to be close, but I mean, there's a great chance that Herbert overtakes that. And I mean, I don't know. I think Stu wins. It's going to be a really close one. I'll go 128 to 125. Stu.
Yeah, it's a really close matchup. I think what does it for me is the three flexes over just the combination. His three flexes, I like the combination over Jacobs, Higgins, and Marquise Brown. I like those three guys over those other three I named on his squad. I will say, man, Jacoby Myers has been great. Nakua looked. I mean, I thought when Cobb came back, I thought he was going to look like shit. Well, not look like shit, but like not getting many targets, double-digit targets again. And it looks like Tutu's the one who's getting hurt for Cobb coming back, and they were also kind of dwindling off Tutu even before Cobb coming back. Ayuk, to me, he's really the number one receiver there. Debo's not a receiver really. He's like a gadget guy, but like a thicker gadget guy. But yeah, and Kyron Williams, man, special. Is Kyron Williams a rookie?
Second year. He was a rookie.
Second year.
Oh yeah, second. Yeah.
But he was hurt most of last year, I think.
I was going to say he should be in run for Rookie of the Year. But yeah, I like it. And also I like the fact that you have two teams. Like you have four players for all two teams. So you're a big Chargers and Rams guy this year, it seems now. You're locked in on those two LA teams. But yeah, I think Stu wins. I think it's going to be a very close game. It's going to come down to the Monday night game because he's got Eckler on one side. And then Eckler does get a lot of catches. So if Eckler does have a touchdown catch, that just cancels out Herbert. So kind of a good thing, I guess. But yeah, it's going to come down to Monday night. Stu wins, edges it out. I think it's one of the games where we're kind of constantly updating Stu and talking about the score on Monday night. So I'm going to go 137 to 126. Stu gets the a Monday night come from behind win.
You guys are nice for picking me, but I'm going to go Alex here. It just feels this matchup is just too even, and just like at least recently, the last few weeks, it's just been breaking the wrong way. I just have a feeling that Justin Fields is going to fucking go for 50 this week or something, but like I think it's a really good matchup, and hopefully it goes into the Monday night game. I'll feel really good if we're heading into Monday night and, it's a really tight game and we're just watching Eckler, Keenan, and Eckler, or Herbert, Keenan, and Eckler. But yeah, I'm going to go 135, 130. Alex squeezes it out on a bullshit garbage time Eckler dump off for 25 yards.
Yeah. I could very well see that. I mean, I think it's going to be a very close game regardless. It's a coin flip of the matchup. Very similar teams in different ways.
Totally.
Okay, so next matchup here, Stu, this is going to be you right here. It's going to be talking about our guy Cobb's squad, his matchup against Yaglu, which as we saw this week, I think we already know where his team is headed. Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing, though. With that trade did yesterday, I know it's a future trade. if there's a year to be the last place guy, the Pancake King for him at least, this would be that because he's exempt from that. So it is a year to tank, if he really just wants to go that route. But yeah, you got Yaglu and you got Cobb.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe he has Deshaun Watson starting against San Fran. He's just going to get eaten the fuck up.
He's not. I don't think he's even going to play.
Good. I hope that has to get switched out. But Jordan Love is on his bench. He's on a bye. So we'll monitor that. But Lawrence, of course. Rondale Moore, key start. I'm going to go Zay Flowers pretty easily. I know Zay's kind of had a down few weeks, but I think he'll get back and it'll be fine. So we'll go Zay there. ETN versus a backup running back. I'm going to go ETN all day. Hawk versus Kincaid. I have Kincaid on my bench in Taja's basement league for Ertz. So yeah, I'm going Hawk all day. This might be the only one that makes me think. Olave and Devontae Adams. What's Devontae's injury? Is he okay?
Yeah.
He hurt his shoulder at the end of the game. But I think they think he's going to play.
Yeah. I'm going to go Devontae. I'm going to give him something. Has Olave scored a touchdown yet? Is he still touchdownless?
He scored one last week.
Okay, cool.
He almost had a second one.
It just like his target share has just dropped quite a bit since the first few weeks, which is hard to see.
Derek Carr, shoulder, AC joint.
Oh yeah, that's right. Demont is going to blow the fuck up, and then Wilson is easy over Sky Moore. This is going to be another obliteration. I don't know that I see you, Cobb, like having a huge scoring output. I see more like a 125, but I see Zach at like Yags at a 80. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a toss-up at all. If you lose this game, you should tank, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is Jesus, dude. Yeah, he might not break, dude. Rondale Moore, Cam Akers. I love the Cam Akers story. That for some reason that really makes me laugh.
Kincaid is good too, man. That's funny.
Yeah, Kincaid's another bad one too. And I remember when I drafted Evan Ingram. This is how bad of a draft Hotch had. When I was about to draft Evan Ingram, he's like, dude, Kincaid. I was like, no, I'm not drafting him. He goes, no, dude, don't think Kincaid, dude. I was like, no, dude. I was like, I'll let the rookies fall to you, buddy. And then when he drafted Kincaid, Hotch got mad.
To continue off that, when we were towards the end of the draft, and I was about to walk up with my Sam Laporta pick, I was like, I'm going to take this rookie from you, Hotch. And he like laughed and slapped my back. He was like, you can have that one. I don't want that one.
Oh my God. I mean, I think Laporta actually should have been the better one because, I mean, based on what Goff did with the Hawkinson, they love throwing to their tight end. So, like, it made sense. And Iowa tight end, obviously, too.
Yeah.
I think you win 126-68. I think it's the lowest projection we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, if I lose this week, every single person on my team might be off my team by next week. I'm thinking like, motherfucker. I better not even have the feeling to like check the score just to make sure. Yeah, this is rough. We'll get to it in our Tomato King or Pancake King rankings, but I think this is the worst is yet to come for 3X. So I have myself, like Stu said, I don't see my ceiling being super high. Obviously, like QB injuries for Carr and also to Garrett, like to Aaron Rodgers, has really capped my receivers that I thought were going to be like the studs of my team. But yeah, I'll give myself, I'll do the same, like 125 to 75.
I like it.
He just made some moves. I don't know if you saw on the league. I got to push. I got to push notifications. Yagler just picked up Jimmy G.
Oh, he's going stacked, dude. I'm gonna be so mad.
Is he watching the show?
Maybe.
You imagine if there's a game where like Devontae Adams gets 3 touchdowns against us, and oh god,
Yeah, that would be pretty bad because it's against your team also, and yeah, that's right. It's one of the worst teams I think I've seen in a really long time. And
no, we've had worse ones than this.
Really?
I think so,
dude. He's starting a guy who's literally not an RB2, but an actual 2 RB on a team. He's the second string RB.
I think this is the worst running back room we've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it without injury. This is without injuries.
Totally.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna finish off here with the last matchup of the week. This is the 4v9 matchup. This is Paul's new look team versus ZB. Did ZB win last week? He won, right? He has second win. Yeah, he scored 129 last week. All right, ZB on win streak. I kind of like this. All right, so we got ZB having a very rough day. He's starting Kirk Cousins against Chicago, Jalen Hurts against the Jets. Just based on the way the show's gone so far, I think everyone here is selling the Jalen Hurts stock. Yeah, the Jets pass defense is their best thing they got going for them. And so I do, and that Cousins going against Chicago, although he doesn't have Justin Jefferson, so I'm curious to see what this Cousins looks like without Justin Jefferson. They do have Addison and KJ Osborne and Hawkinson. They still have a good amount of weapons. I'm going to go slight lean on Kirk Cousins just because Chicago's defense is that bad. They made Sam Howell. Sam Howell had like 2 picks last week, and he had a 32 in fantasy. So, like, there's a chance that Cousins can have a good blow-up spot even if they lose that game. So I'm going to go Cousins. I think there's a bigger blow-up opportunity than Jalen Hurts. Calvin Ridley finally got more than 3 catches in the game last week, so let's give him a round of applause there. Yeah, I think we'll see Calvin Ridley. Yeah, I think Calvin Ridley has a better game than Devontae Smith does. Just gonna go on that. I have not been a Devontae Smith fan. You guys try to like make me feel guilty about not being a Devontae Smith fan. And
such bullshit.
It's true. All offseason, what I say, that's not the real stack. We like real stacks. That wasn't a real stack. You're like, well, it's not a real stack. It's a 1B. I was like, okay, you guys are right. 1B. I'll give it to you. But he has. I mean, what he did last week is what I imagined it to be, and like, it's not. It hasn't been good. That's the reason why you're off him now. And I think Calvin Ridley's got a better chance. I mean, okay, I will say though, do you think Sauce is going to guard? Good question. Sauce guard Devontae Smith or Sauce guard AJ Brown?
I'm guessing AJ.
Okay, so Devontae Smith then. I'll give Devontae Smith over Calvin Ridley then. If Sauce is going to trail AJ Brown, I mean, yeah, it makes more sense to get the real receiver over there.
There you go.
Joe Mixon versus Pacheco. I looked at some numbers here. I don't have them on here, but pretty much every starting running back who's gone against Denver has had more than 17 carries in a game and has 80 yards plus and has at least a touchdown in every game of the season. So every main bell cow running back who's had 16 plus carries had over 80 yards rushing. I think almost all of them have 100 yards rushing, and then a touchdown. So Pacheco's going to dominate tomorrow. I think, and I'm not a big Pacheco fan, but he's going to dominate them. Joe Mixon, yeah. Seattle's defense is really good. I do think Seattle's going to beat Cincinnati this week, and I think we're going to see a little bit of what we saw with Cincinnati in the first few weeks. I just think last week they played Arizona, a team who's just been playing well above their means all season so far. Darren Waller, Mark Andrews. James Cook. and Jerome Ford, James Cook, Jordan Addison, DK Metcalf. Yeah, man. Jesus, dude. Addison's numbers have been pretty good. Very, very similar to DK's numbers, actually. Give me Jordan Addison against Chicago. And you know what? Jordan Addison, Cousins stack. What's ZB? What's ZB building over there?
Ooh.
What's going on with ZB? Chris Godwin versus Lockett. Godwin really hasn't really built up a rapport with Baker. I mean, his floor has been a 8 or 7, and high has been a 16 so far. Lockett's really done nothing this year. Lockett's had a really poor year besides this 123 that he had. I'm going to go Godwin. That's a pretty close to a wash. I'm going to go Godwin. And also, Evans, there's a chance Evans might not play this week. So if Evans doesn't play, then Godwin's going to get even more looks from my guy Baker. You know what? I hate to say it. ZB gets his second straight win over Perka Beasley. Give me ZB 128 to Paul's 114. Cobb, who do you have in this one?
I have ZB too.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Addison without Justin Jefferson. I think they're going to ask him to step up, and I think he's going to step up. I think he's going to look great. But yeah, the biggest thing holding me back with Paul's team currently is having to start DK and Lockett. I don't know. I feel like the Cincinnati-Seattle game might end up looking grosser than people might think. And if that game is low scoring, like that's going to be the end of it. And then Ford's going against San Fran's defense. Not my thing. So I'm going ZB. Let's go like a 131 to 119.
Stu, what do you got?
I think it'll be close. I like Paul's team more broadly, but I don't like the matchups as much this week. So I think I'm going to go with ZB, but I think it's going to be close. I actually don't think the projection's terrible. I would just flip it. I'll go like a 120 to 112.
Clean ZB sweep. This is the first time he's had a clean sweep, and you just texted me actually saying Viking stack, baby. So, yeah. Minnesota stackings. Ooh.
Yeah. Finally one that works.
Yeah.
Paul's flexes though, just are really like Jerome Ford against San Fran's tough, like Lockett and DK together. Like that's hard to rationalize.
Yeah. Paul, I don't understand why he did that trade. I really don't get it.
He could just be a big, Hurts and Smith long-term guy. Like the Lockett thing, I agree. Like I was out on Lockett. I was hoping someone else would be more in on him. I don't know if Paul is. I don't know if he's more in on him or just like more in on him than Wandale.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Oh, this guy, Yaklu's made some updates with his team. He finally benched Cam Akers for a guy he just picked up. He's starting Salvon Ahmed to be his starting running back this week. He's going to get reps, I guess, with the A-Chain out.
Yeah, but if Jeff Wilson comes back.
He needs to monitor that situation.
Wait. Actually, I'm not. Dude, I'm pretty sure he's behind with Chris Brooks or something like that. The other running back that they have.
His blue thing says Ahmed opened the season as Raheem Mostert's backup with Devin A-Chain being healthy and active. However, Ahmed injured his groin in week 2 has been unable to play since. He now seems set to return as A-Chain is put on the IR. While it makes sense for Ahmed to return his backup role, Miami is also likely to get Jeff Wilson off IR this week, which further complicates things. For now, we know Mostert will be the lead back, but who earns the majority of touches behind him remains to be seen, which is between him and Jeff Wilson.
Interesting. I forget where I heard it, but I was pretty sure that people were saying that Chris Brooks was ahead of Ahmed now, but
all I know is I think it's a better start than Cam Akers. I mean, at least it seems Miami doesn't trust Moser to be the full-time guy, so they're going to need to split up his carries somehow. And if Wilson doesn't play, I think Ahmed's is better than Cam Akers at least. At least we know what the role is with Ahmed. We have no idea what Cam Akers is. You know they traded like a 2026 like 7th round conditional pick. I haven't even heard of such a trade like that before in NFL at least.
Yeah, but I think that's more like McVay just giving him the finger than anything else. Like, I don't know. I like the Akers start more than this. Like,
I do too.
Akers is
Ahmed guys.
No, and Akers is like getting some workload. Like Matt, I don't know. Like he has a floor that I can identify. I can't really identify much with this other guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say Carolina, one of the worst run defenses in the league. And there's potential there, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if Yags is listening, but I think there's also another option he has that's better.
You Gainwell?
Yeah, I think he's better than both of them.
I don't understand why he's not a Gainwell fan. I like Gainwell definitely more than I like. God,
you know what?
It's still
Yeah, because I wouldn't start Gainwell. Just stick to your gut.
Yeah, that's right. You're playing against him this week. Yeah. I mean, if I was playing against that team, I'd be very happy if I was you. So, and you're going to know pretty early tomorrow. You got Judy and Sky Morris coming off right away. So if those guys get sub 5s, I think you're in good hands, buddy.
Both going to get touchdowns tomorrow.
And he's got Drew Tranquil, so he's got 3 guys tomorrow. Yeah,
I would get I was just gonna say, what do you think about CEH if you guys are going to be dominating them on the run defense there?
Yeah, he gets a few touches, man.
Trust your gut, Yags. You're good. I don't think we need to give you any more advice.
If I was, I would have told him to pick up Minshew, not freaking Jimmy G quarterback. I mean, what is he doing? Minshew's a better option.
Maybe we should move on.
Yeah. Let's go to okay. We're gonna go to our Pancake King rankings, and obviously Pancake King rankings is presented by IHOP Home Stack. It's fall season, so the pumpkin pancakes are back. I just went there and had them a couple weeks ago. It's phenomenal. For some reason, I think they added a different ingredient because this year it's better than ever. It's probably the best it's ever been, to be quite honest with you. But here's Pancake King rankings presented by IHOP. All right, and this is the Pancake King rankings presented by IHOP. So this is where we will go from 7 to 12 on who he thinks in the bottom 6 of our league. Cobb, get us started with number 7.
This one might be a little bit of a surprise. I also think he's going to finish higher than this by the end of the season. I'm going to go Tasia here. I don't know. I considered not having him in the bottom of the Pancake King rankings, but because I love where his team's at right now. And like Stu said, if he gets a better quarterback or Dak shows up, I think we're talking about a completely different team. I think Kupp coming back, gigantic. Obviously, we talked about Swift being one of the gems of the draft, has been phenomenal. And then he has like Thielen and Madison on the bench, and Michael Thomas, and KJ Osborne could end up being a bigger role without Justin Jefferson. Like, he has more depth, and maybe Palmer's the guy over Quentin Johnston coming out of the bye. Like, he has options, he has depth, and he has great starters. I have Tasia here. I think the better days are ahead. He's just won his first game with Kupp back, and I think he's going to go on a roll here.
Stu, special guest of honor, who's your 7th, buddy? Your audio.
Sorry, I was on mute. I like the Tasia pick. I'm going to go Tasia as well. I think he's a few weeks away from us, even if he's not actually out of the bottom 6, being out of the Pancake rankings, pending a better quarterback. So, I like the pick, Cobb.
Thanks.
Yeah, my 7th spot might surprise you guys a little bit. I got a guy who made an unnecessary trade this week, and if he didn't make that trade, he would not be in this bottom 6. My guy Paul Parker Beasley, he's got 7th right now. Like Stu said, if you watch the Eagles games, dude, Hurts has not looked good at all, and I can see Hurts finishing this year in like a not top 12 in fantasy quarterbacks. Devontae Smith has been meh. Pacheco's been a bright spot for him, but then you got flexes with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf right now. He was relying on A-Chain, which I thought was great. You know, he was able to get this guy late. I think he might have picked him up actually, but like he was relying on that. Take away if A-Chain wasn't what he was, Paul probably be like 1-4 right now if A-Chain never even existed. The fact that he was relying on him so hard kind of tells me the whole story, really. That's a guy who shouldn't even be in the playoffs. That's a guy who probably should be lower than 7, but I'm being nice because he is in the playoffs right now. I'm going to give Paul a 7th spot. You're relying on Jerome Ford. You're relying on the Seattle Seahawks receivers right now, the Stackhawks. Yeah, this is a team that's destined for pumpkin pancakes is what he's destined for. So, yeah, he's 7th spot for me. Cobb, 8. Who's your 8th spot?
My 8th spot is going to be ZB. I think, yeah, I have faith in this guy. He has the lowest points for right now, but he just had a big win last week, scored a 129. I think I just talked about how much I like Addison, and I think he's going to be in a blow-up spot against with Justin Jefferson out. I think Mixon has good days ahead. I like Ridley. I think Ridley has better days ahead. Yeah, just overall, and like he again has decent depth. I mean, Gabe Davis is quietly like having a really good season. Rashad White's okay. Jalen Warren could be key coming out of the bye. Maybe they use him more over Najee, but yeah, no, I like ZB's starters right now. I think he benefited a lot from the Justin Jefferson injury. Even though he has Kirk Cousins, I think he actually has a stack now. And I think that's going to be beneficial for him.
You could even make the argument that Gabe Davis should be starting in that roster. If you look I have Gabe Davis in the league and I hadn't been starting him. I look at his game logs. He's fucking had a really good year, dude. And no one's talking about it.
From last year.
He's having the year that everybody thought he was going to have last year, just a year late. That's all. Stu, who is your 8th spot?
Cobb. Cobb's my 8th spot. I like his team. The only thing that like worries me is Lawrence, who has not firmly taken any step forward fantasy wise, has firmly taken a step back. And as another person, I would maybe be looking. I mean, I'm looking at a schedule. This is brutal for pass defenses. Like there's. Yeah, who does the green, the gray, and the red? This is all red. So, like, I don't know, man. I would be looking for some kind of streaming option for when, like, you especially have, like, a tough matchup. But, like, I like everything else on the team, and D-Mon is a huge, huge addition that I don't think we saw coming to this level.
You got Bake as a backup, so. Man, and Bake's having a key year, dude.
Sure. No, he is. But like,
he's having a good like NFL quarterback season, not like fantasy. Yeah.
I want Goff or someone like that.
I got Goff. You want to make a trade for him right now? 4th round pick. I'll do it right now.
I tell you what, you're a big Baker guy. Baker right now.
Now we're good. I'm gonna stick with Cobb as my 8th spot. I actually have that as well. Yeah, Stu said that Trevor Lawrence took a step back. I think Trevor Lawrence is back. Look, his best score of the season came week 1 against Indianapolis Colts. This week he's playing the Indianapolis Colts. He's gonna come back to what he had week 1, and I think you know what, he's had a really bad season to date. 5 touchdowns, and we're in week 6 right now. Awful. There's a chance, and apparently this is also something that I read. Apparently, while they were gone in Jacksonville for 2 weeks, apparently the team really got closer, and they have more chemistry, best that it's ever been. Apparently. So I could see he has Calvin Ridley, a new guy there. I could see things starting to piece together a little bit. They across the pond for a little bit. They had some key fish and chips together, had some Guinnesses. They're back, and I think he's having a good second half of the season for him. Zay Flowers has been all right. Travis Etienne, another guy who's been phenomenal. I think if there was a redraft, I think he would probably have been a top 3 pick. To be quite honest with you, Hawkinson has been solid. I think Hawkinson is going to – of all the guys – I know we haven't even talked about Hawkinson, but KJ Osborne, Osborne and Addison, I think the real guy who's actually going to benefit the most is going to be TJ Hawkinson because he's going to get checkdowns up the wazoo. And I think that's another guy that benefits. Stu mentioned David Montgomery. David Montgomery's probably been – if you did a redraft, David Montgomery's probably where Gibbs was picked, actually, if you did a redraft. The guys we thought coming in were going to be Cobb's guys, Garrett Wilson and Olave. Olave's been all right, but they really haven't been, and it sucks because Garrett Wilson probably would have done amazing with Rodgers. But overall, I think Cobb has enough here that can supersede Paul, and that can supersede the other guys who were in that 4 or 5, the imaginary 3, 4, 5, 6 that we have because we never even ranked the top 6. We always rank the bottom 6. But anyway, I think there's a chance that Cobb can, with the guys I just mentioned, I think those guys can do enough to get him in the and he has Cooper on his bench too, and one injury to fucking CMC. Eli Mitchell's the guy,
and Nico Collins, dude, come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nico Collins is there too.
I called him the worst pick of the draft.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. He's losing a step, isn't he?
Yeah. Don't even take whatever he says. We're gonna draft the opposite. I mean, look at his bench without like people bailing him out of his awful team. Hodges, nothing. But anyway, yeah, I think you have a really good shot. You obviously you're gonna win this week, and that's gonna propel you into start getting on a little rhythm, a little warpath for our guy Cobb. All right, so now we go into our 9th spot. Cobb, who's in your 9th spot?
My 9th spot is only here because of his total points right now. I think next week he might be lower. It's going to be Adam. Between Tua, CMC, and AJ Brown, I think he's going to be in every matchup. I think he has potential. Maybe not this week because he is playing Hotch, and we all had that being a blowout. But yeah, it's just outside of that, like you're starting Gus Edwards, pretty gross. Drake London, until they actually, Heineke needs to be the quarterback there. Desmond Ridder is weak. That'd be a lot more fun with Heineke behind the helm. But yeah, I mean, like Jahan Dotson, very disappointing year. And then even his bench, like Pickens is nice. They're going to the bye, but then Deontay Johnson's going to be back. And, what is that going to do to Pickens? And I mean, there's really no one else. Like Marvin Mims has looked great when he's in, but he's not in for whatever reason. There's really just no one else on his bench that really sticks out to me. Aaron Jones, obviously nice, but he's been out with injuries and he's been struggling with injuries this season. I think Adams on the wrong trajectory. I have him here mainly because of the points he's scored so far and having CMC.
Stu, who's your 9th spot?
I'm my 9th spot.
Wow,
dude, what?
Dude, I haven't shown I can win. I'm on a trajectory against Alex, and the rest of my schedule is not easy. I have missed a lot of my easy win opportunities. I lost to Zach in week 1. Say it again.
Me too.
Yeah, well, I have a tougher schedule upcoming, and if I don't win this Alex one, I can see a pretty tough situation. So I'm putting me in the 9th spot until I can prove them better.
Pretty good. My 9th spot, I got ZB. You guys already used ZB up earlier. Yeah, I think Cousins has been a solid quarterback. For Rodgers going down week 1, I mean, it couldn't have been a better person to have. 9's a pretty good spot considering, what he's had to go through already this year. Calvert started off hot. Calvert has not looked like the Calvert he thought. That everyone was sucking his balls during training camp. Everyone thought Calvert was going to be this wide receiver 1. Christian Kirk's the wide receiver 1 over there for looking at numbers. Joe Mixon, he's been all right. James Cook's been superb. I think he had like an off week last week. Yeah, before last week he looked pretty solid. Addison's going to look great with being in the he's pretty much going to be the same role he was in. He might get more targets now, but he's going to stay in the same role that he was in when Justin Jefferson was there. Godwin could look to benefit with Evans being out if he's out this week. But just in general, he's got good depth. And as bye weeks start to come, as injuries start to come, you got Rashad White and Gabe Davis. And Kyle Pitts is starting to get targets now. I mean, at least 1 week. He got some balls last week. So there's a chance that he could put something together here. At a 9 spot, I think there's a chance he could be in the playoffs. And again, the 3, 4, 5, 6 spots are completely wide open, I think. So there's 4 spots that somebody's got to take. I don't know who's going to be, but somebody's got to have it. I don't know who's going to be, but it could be ZB. Cobb, 10. Who is your 10 spot?
Yeah, my 10 spot is myself, actually.
What?
Yeah. I'm not putting myself in the top 6. Come on. I'm 1-4. I have one of the lowest points fours in the league. I just think the ceiling that I expected to have is just not there. It really seems like my ceiling is around the 125 to 135 range, which is not great. I think my team is on a decent trajectory. Like you said, I'm really excited to see what Hawkinson does. I think Zay Flowers has better days ahead. I'm excited for Amari Cooper. I like him. Olave and Wilson, like you said, like they've just been disappointing. It's Wilson looks great, but he has Zach Wilson throwing to him. And until Derek Carr, I was so excited for Jameis Winston to be the quarterback down in New Orleans, but then they decided to stick with a hurt Carr, and it looks it's bad.
Awful.
But yeah, on the kind of topic of my team, Trevor Lawrence, behind the Patriots, Jaguars have been the team I've been watching the most this year, and I think he's been looking great. I think he's looked very good in the NFL. Like NFL games doesn't translate to fantasy right now, which has been the most frustrating thing. There's been a lot of what ifs, been a lot of 1 foot out touchdowns. There's been a lot of barely out of bounds touchdowns. Against the Buffalo Bills, who, they really lost Tre'Davious White. He looked great. He had 2 drives that were stopped because of fumbles. He got sacked and he fumbled the ball. So that's 4 points right there that he could have had. He would have had over 20, but and honestly, one of the drives at the half should have been a touchdown. But yeah, I think he's looked good. He's looked like what I've mainly wanted him to look like. The Jaguars are a team that I think would have benefited from an earlier bye. It would have been great to have that bye after the London games, which is kind of weird that they were in London for 2 weeks so they don't get a bye or something. That would have been cool. But yeah, no, I think better days are ahead for this team. But right now, with where I'm at, where I think my ceiling is, I can't really put myself much higher. So,
Stu, who you got?
I got ZB. ZB's. I like his team. You know what I mean? It's not terrible. He's got good guys on his bench. Gabe Davis, we talked about. He's got Jalen Warren on his bench. Jalen Warren's going to be a great second half asset. You could trade away one of his. I don't know. He's got Addison, as we talked about. Mixon's getting workload. I don't know. There are worse teams in this league, and I'm putting him at is this the 10th spot we're at right now? I think that's a strong 10th spot. He easily could keep moving his way up. So it's not a diss on him, other than there isn't really a guy on the team that's has a ton of firepower behind him at this point.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know if actually Stu has mentioned him yet. Adam is my 10 spot. Just rough. This team's the fact that he's in. It's kind of like where I'm at with Paul. The fact that he's so much earlier on the season. It's just team's not a good. It shouldn't be a playoff team right now. This is gonna be teams to be fighting for the pancake spot, which I think I'm always with Adam's team. I'm never really a fan of his team. I don't like the way he builds his teams. Dotson's weak. Drake London's weak. Gus Edwards is weak. Aaron Jones hurt. Marvin Mims weak. His team. You just go down his team. A lot of when you have to say weak that many times, or it feels like it's a tongue twister. That's it's not a good team. Outside of CMC and AJ Brown, that's it. Those two and two is blow up weeks are the only reason why he has 3 wins right now. That's it. And 2 is going to go back to reality soon, I think. You start to see it already. But yeah, this is a team that's going to be vying for the last few spots. Honestly, I just don't really buy that team at all. It's a lot of bad. 11th spot. Cobb, who's your 11th spot?
My 11th spot is ZT. Blown away. He's in last right now. Second lowest points scored. Honestly, the only reason I'm not in the 12th spot right now is because I have 1 or 2 more points scored than he does. But honestly, for every ceiling I feel like I lack, I can say that even more about ZT. It's really unfortunate that Anthony Richardson got hurt because, like Stu said, could have flipped a Lamar or Anthony Richardson to bolster his roster and really make a push. I just it's just not there for me. Like Pittman has really fallen off. Gibbs is just not the guy. Like he might have a super strong second half of the season. I've been saying that ZT is going to have a strong second half. But David Montgomery is the guy there. And Ramondre Stevenson, I didn't even know if I could name a bigger disappointment than him in fantasy. Everyone thought he was going to eat. I thought he was going to do really well, but I knew I always knew that there was going to be some sort of bigger split than people might have thought, but I never thought it was going to be this bad. It's just like that offense is just abysmal. And the issue I with ZT is he's going to go down with the ship. Like he still loves his team. He's not going to move off any of these guys. And it's going to be rough to watch. I hope he has a strong second half. He just needs a lot of bounce backs that I don't really know are going to happen. So I have him at 11.
Yeah, I have him at 11 too. And I also am just he's one of the teams that knows this by now that they're not making the playoffs, right? And like I would, if I was him, be trying to sell assets for picks. Like Stevenson, like there's still a small enough sample size that some of those names are still going to bring in a good pick, right? Like Stevenson's been like a bust so far, but like not so much that someone wouldn't like chalk up a pretty good pick to have him on the team, throw him on the bench, hope he has a better second half, right? And like he's got a few of those guys that he could really build a really good draft for next year and like just take it on the chin because he's probably going to get that anyway because Yags, even if Yags gets last, it's the next guy who's the pancake king, right? Like, so you might as well just like get out ahead of it, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a tough team that like caps at a 105 ceiling, and like it's just it's gonna be hard to watch.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Yaglu at my 11th spot here. Yaglu, it's a bad team, but I mean, I think once you get to the 10 and 12 spot, now because I think a few weeks ago we're like, oh man, 10 and 11 and 12, like these are all teams that could be in the playoffs. I think now we're seeing a big distinction of what a team that's not making the playoffs looks like versus a team that is making the playoffs. The one thing I will say about Yaglu's team is the fact that he has Devontae Adams. He has like a home run hitter on his team still. ZT doesn't really have a home run hitter on his team anymore. There is no like, because when we're looking at these two teams, we're looking at teams that have building blocks for next year. ZT, while he has a lot of good guys, there's not like a lot of building blocks. Devontae Adams is a guy he could trade, that Yaglu could trade right now and get like a second, maybe a first round pick from someone. ZT doesn't have anybody he can trade any of those guys to get a first or second out of. Yaglu does. He also has Christian Watson. Christian Watson has been hurt. And I think the first game back, he had a touchdown, he had 10. Yeah, both games, he hasn't really had good games, but a 10 and an 8 so far. He's got a bye week this week, so he doesn't have him. But like, yeah, there's not much to build on this team. But if you go going forward, because both these teams, it's more of a next year game now. We have Devontae Adams and we have Justin Jefferson on one squad, and then we have Terry McLaurin, Lamar Jackson, and Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, or Amon. I don't even know. I mean, it's like the same team he had last year, really, and it's almost even the guys he didn't even keep. He drafted again, and it's the same. He's in the same rut that he was in last year. So, based on future assets they have, I like where Yaglu is starting, and he'll have all of his picks next year too, on top of having a better keeper selection. So, I'm gonna go Yaglu at my 11th spot. So that leads us to our Pancake King, and roll the video.
You are the Pancake King, young and sweet, hunting fan of thieves. Ooh, see that boy, watch that taste, digging the Pancake King.
Oh God!
You guys there?
Oh yeah,
My Wi-Fi went out for a second.
We need to get the lyrics to that song because I always miss what they say.
I don't know. It's really good. Was that your first time hearing that, Stu? You've heard it before, right?
No, it's not my first time hearing it.
But it's your first time hearing it this season live.
Yeah.
No, I've been on the show before.
Live during the season?
Was Sarah? Was that Sarah's first time hearing it? Is she in the background right now?
She's not, but she has heard it too. I showed it to her as well.
That's a good one. I love that tune. But anyway, so we got our Pancake King. Cobb, who is your Pancake King of week 6?
Yeah, it's Yags. It's a guy that I was hoping to not have down here. And honestly, I think the biggest tragedy of this trade that we didn't talk about is that he's probably going to be doing at least 6 more chugs this year at 6, just because of this team that's he shaped up. Again, he does have immunity for the punishment. So, yes, I agree. He does have a nice future ahead of him. And we're excited to see where he takes it. But this is the current year Pancake King. I have him there. I'm playing him this week. Man, I better not lose, or I'm I'm going to put myself at 12, and I'm never looking back. I'm going to make a reservation at IHOP if I lose you lose the Yags this week. But yeah, Yags is my 12. It's just a bad team.
Stu, who's your Pancake King?
It's Yags, and here's my issue is I get what you said, Dash, about he's got the pieces, but I would argue this team is now a worse team than it was that he took over, because Justin Jefferson is now at the worst trade value he's ever been. He's on IR. Kirk Cousins is on the rumor mill, and maybe all that works out. Kirk Cousins comes back, Justin Jefferson comes back, it's all good. But this is the worst time it's ever been to own him, and that's the time that Yags gets him. I still think that those are 2 pieces. And Devontae Adams is just an aging piece that at the tender you're never going to get rid of him, but at some point that's just going to fall. But he has 2 pieces that a lot of us would really love to have heading into any offseason, no doubt about it. I'm a little worried because I think that the Justin Jefferson trade was in fact a step backwards from where he got the team. Yeah,
that's a fair point. If you look at the team that he took over, I will say though, Barry didn't leave him in the best standing as far as draft pick wise. I mean, it was really tough to build a team, and you're seeing that in his roster.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, my last pick is ZT. It's looking at his team right now. His projection is at 100. Is that the lowest projection? Because that might be the lowest projection of the year. Okay, no, Yags. No, Yags is a 92 this week. Yeah, I'm just looking at future assets. ZT is going to be the same unless he makes moves this offseason. ZT is in a situation where he's going to have the same exact team that he had the year before. He's in the same exact team that he had this year. And it's he's got to make some moves at some point. Ramondre's got to get off of. I've been making the joke that he needs to get off Lamar. I think it is time to get off Lamar. I think it's way past the time for that. Yeah. There's a lot of it's a solid team. It's a solid core of guys. It just collectively there's no home run hitters in that team. There's no guy in that squad that guy can give me a 30 at any point. No one.
Other than Lamar, but Lamar still is not he's inconsistent, and he's an asset that people will be dying to have that he could get a ransom for if he would just be willing to do it.
Yeah, even right now, and I would say right now is probably Lamar's all-time low right now. And if I were him, I would wait maybe a week or two, have one blow-up game, then maybe try to do something like that. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's our Pancake King. So we have Yaglu ZT as the Pancake King for week 6, and I think this is going to be the back and forth of Pancake Kings for the next 8 weeks. I guess how many more weeks we have left of the season. All right, so now we're going to go to our final segment, paying homage to our the late, great Marcus Berry. This is Berry's Motivational Squeeze. This is, of course, where we pick a person in the league and give them some really solid sound advice as they continue with the BL Plus fantasy season.
This is why you're fucking holding back, and I'm tired of the BS.
All right, so this is Barry's motivational squeeze, where each of us pick a guy that we think needs some advice going into week 6. Cobb, who is the person you're giving some sound advice to this week?
Yeah, so we're going into week 6, and a little fun stat for you. 4 of the 5 guys that I've given a motivational squeeze to have won that week. Stu was one of them. Tasia, and I forget the other. But I remember one. The one that lost that I'm going to give it to this week is ZT. I chose ZT 2 weeks ago. He ended up losing. I'm going to choose him again because I think he needs it the most. And it's always painful to see an owner go down with the ship as much as he does. And it's what everyone's already said, man. Make moves. You have talent. You have names that people want that I think you can get value for, even though they've been underperforming. I still think there's some hope that you have a good second half of the season. But I think you need to be okay cutting bait with some people. And this isn't a speech to try and get him to give me those guys. This is just a motivation for him because we know it's more fun when ZT is competitive, and for some of us. But no, I think he's got to make moves. I'm kind of tired of having this same conversation for years on end of having the going down with the ship, being a mid-team, not doing much with it. And I think we need to see a change, CT. And I'm doubling down on you. You better not let me down again, or you're never getting a motivational squeeze again.
I do have a question about that, though. When was the last time ZT was competitive in this league?
Well, the last time he had a competitive team, he had the highest points against and missed the playoffs. That was like 5 years ago. But
he didn't make the playoffs. How is he competitive?
No, we like having him be competitive. It's fun.
Yeah, I was trying to say, do we even remember that though? Like, I mean, was it?
I remember it being fun. It's more fun than where we currently are. You know, we can't really even talk fantasy with the guy. He's sad. He's drinking beers in an elementary school bathroom. Like
it is
more than that.
It's Alexandria to Woodson Worthy. Like that. That's how rock bottom it is.
But ZT, you'll get it, man.
Stu, I think it's your first motivational squeeze, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't have a big speech, and it was going to be a ZT, but I think he doesn't need it. He beat me last week, but Tasia's got to. I hope Tasia realizes the path he's got ahead of him because he can be a playoff team. He can be a strong one. He could be a top 4 seed kind of guy, and if he can just trade for a quarterback, sky's the limit. So. My advice to Tasia is to do that this weekend.
That's good. I like that. My motivational squeeze is to my guy Roden, who's 4-1 this year. When Hotch was offering massive amounts of picks to everybody a couple weeks back, he offered like the next 5 years, like first round picks and stuff to Roden for Josh Allen to get him back. Roden did not take it because Roden wants to win, and Roden traded his number 1 pick this past year, where he was the pancake king, for Josh Allen, and Roden stood his ground and said no. So my motivation squeeze to Roden is just hold your ground. Don't listen to any outside trade offers if Hotch is trying to do something to you. Just hold your ground. You're 4-1 for a reason. You made the trade to get Tutu Atwell. Solid. I think that's kind of run its course maybe. But I was looking at his team. It's not like Tutu Atwell or bust. I mean, he's got Josh Reynolds, got Zay Jones, Josh Downs, and also a guy who I think's sneaky, depending on what happens with Javonte Williams, because it seems like it's wide open in Denver, is Jaleel McLuhan, dude. That guy's a fucking beast, dude. I was watching their game the other day, dude. He's like a fun guy to watch, dude. He's got a little Jamal Charles, Dexter McCluster-ish type vibes to him, the way he moves, and small stature guy. And that's a potential guy where if Javonte Williams does get shut down or gets hurt again, which potentially could happen, that's a guy who could be a fantasy winner when we're looking down the line. I was unfortunate. I didn't get him in any league this year, but it's a guy I think could be key for him down the line. But solid team top to bottom. Just don't make a hasty trade, because Roden does do that a lot, whether it's with Hotch or someone else. I think stand pat with the squad you got, because I think you got something here. Maybe not a championship team, but definitely back to the semis, which I don't know. A couple of years ago, that guy was living in the semifinals. And a lot of people thought that was a fluke. made it a couple of years in a row of doing it, and I think he's got a team to get back to the semifinals. So, Roden, keep doing your thing, man. I support you. All right, guys. Well, that was a great show. It was a 2-hour episode with our guy Stu. Was happy to have you, buddy. It was really, that we asked you about a couple minutes before we started the show. If you want to come on, you hopped in. It was great. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's the best show. It's the best podcast for any fantasy football league in America. So,
Oh yeah,
how about that?
I think it's true. What do you think, Cobb? You right?
I mean, yeah, of course. We're going on a strong, I don't even know, 4 years, 3 years, something like that.
2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 4 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we thought it was gonna be a COVID thing, but it really spun into something more. Just
Yeah.
the
And
same
you know
old,
what?
same old.
As good as we are, it's always nice to have a extra guest on,
Yeah.
on the
That's
show.
nice.
I hope it doesn't go this long again during the season that we don't have one. And Stu, obviously, we'd love to have you back. You're always great. Everyone always texts us afterwards, loving your analysis. And
Yeah, I got a few texts about his presence today.
Twitter's going crazy right now. There's Taylor Watch. Now we got Stu Watch on the Cobb Dash show. So
That's great.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Well, we hope everyone enjoys the episode. I know some of you guys listen to it at work. I know Paul listens to it while he's at work. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoys the episode. Hope everyone does their thing and sets a good lineup this week. So you're not on the bottom 6 of the Pancake King rankings, which is pretty much like most of the shows, the Pancake King rankings portion. But yeah, we love you guys, and we hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Take it easy, fellas.